Hey guys, it's Mana here. So first off, I want to point out that he was not mowing when I started recording. As soon as I hit the record button, he started the lawnmower, which is annoying. Secondly, you have to deal with the window being open because it's hot and the air conditioner, for whatever reason, doesn't work upstairs. It only works for the first floor. I don't know. But I do have some awesome news. I'm really excited because the Grand Marshals for the Mansfield Gay Pride have been announced, and it is Austin and Aaron Rhodes, aka the Rhodes Bros on YouTube. So excited! And I got to meet their mom at the Mansfield Gay Pride benefit show the other night, which was so much fun. It was very entertaining. We ended up raising over $1,000 for the Gay Pride event, so this will be fun. Mansfield Pride, for those of you who don't know and may want to go, this is Mansfield, Ohio, just FYI. It is July 22nd and 23rd. So, yay! Okay, so now that I'm done doing that, we're just going to jump right back into some Seduce Me and, see what happens. This was also confusing. Demons and devils and magic all existed, and I happened to land in the middle of it. What do we do?
You're safe. You've been protected as well.
What?
What Damien's saying is that the magic that protects this place also protects you.
Your grandfather must have cast it when you last saw him or something of that nature. We can sense its aura around your body.
I couldn't believe my ears. It was the third day of surprises, and this one took the cake in being the most surprising. I felt my head spin once again. What did I get myself into?
Miss, please don't worry. We'll find a way to train ourselves and become stronger to finally finish this feud.
I'm gonna kick his ass right now.
Until then, we'll protect you as much as we can. If Malix comes back, we'll be here for you.
But what about going outside? Won't he...
Like we said, you have a protection spell on you. Even if Malix attacks you, he won't be able to use his magic on you. He'd be just like any other human you can fight back against.
Didn't you say you knew Taekwondo?
Well, yeah. I felt somewhat relieved that I was mostly safe from Malix. Still, I could not help but feel very nervous and apprehensive about the future. The boys were safe here to train and become stronger, but what if Malix did the same? Even more so, I was lost about how my grandfather knew about magic. I had to find out. At least I had time. Achievement unlocked. Green apples. Okay. I went to bed that night feeling nervous. Despite the words of the incubi, I felt like a target to something I'd never been able to explain or prove. Magic, devils, demons, how did this all even happen? Should I really meddle with the situation? They are only staying until they defeat Malix. That's right. They said they'd only stay until after they defeated Malix. After that, my life could go back to normal. Temporary insanity, as Kay would say. The question was then, would I want them to leave? If my life went back to normal, then I'd have to care for the house all on my own. I'd get to focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'd have to. My life. Where was my life going anyway? I was under pressure from my parents with only my friends and the boys to comfort me. Without the boys, I'd have no way to hide from the responsibilities. Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with it when it comes. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me. Hopefully whatever the future had for me, I would be ready for it.
I promise to be with you forever.
Naomi!
You're so important to me.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Please, let me love you.
I'll be by your side, always.
I can't imagine living without you.
I want to be with you. I love you.
I slowly opened my eyes, letting the voices from my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m. Why am I up so early? Story of my life? I wake up at 7 almost every single day, whether I have to work or not. And if I do get to sleep in, I never get to sleep past 9. So, yay. I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to get back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive, right? So much coffee is needed. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace from my bed. A sigh escaped from between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 in the morning? Make some coffee, work on homework, explore the house. Coffee! I decided making coffee was my best bet in surviving the rest of the day. Why not? I haven't had coffee in forever. I got out of bed and made my way to the kitchen, unconcerned that I was in pajama pants and a tank top. I rummaged through the cabinets for a coffee machine and any makings for coffee. Surely my grandfather had some. A French press? Well, it's better than nothing. As I began to make my coffee, I checked my email and text on my phone. No new important emails, no text messages. I sighed. I quickly made my coffee just how I like it and sat on the counter. But then I began to wonder, would this happen every day? I let the question linger in my mind for a whole morning. I did not think once about the boys or Malix. Everything was peaceful. Everything was average. Nothing magical or dangerous or unusual. I simply drank my coffee as I let the thought of marinate in the back of my mind. I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under my covers to try sleeping again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday, and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes, back to sleep. I shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet it felt like I had slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went out to the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sounds of battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard were all 5 of the boys, practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at him. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Don't disturb them. I just watched. The boys were very much in their own world, focusing on the training they all were in. It was better not to disturb them. I checked the time and decided to head inside to the kitchen. I was getting hungry, and I'm sure the boys would need to eat soon, so lunch was a must. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make cold-cut sandwiches, simple chicken and rice, pizza. I like chicken and rice. Gotta keep their energy and strength up with protein. I took my time to make almost perfect chicken breast alongside some rice. Cooking wasn't hard unless you didn't know what you were doing in the first place. Porcelain. Or shall I say Brand? I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried that dish into the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focus on training. I'm going to find one of them. I quickly rushed back and grabbed a second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. I couldn't find any of them. I could only shrug, though. They knew where the food was, so I went to my room instead and ate alone in my room. It's not my problem. I turned on my computer and started to jam to music as I ate my food. As I ate, I began to think about going out. There were so many places to go, things to do. Grandfather's grade, the arcade, Pink Lady Cafe, stay in my room. Let's go see Grandfather. It was Sunday, and I felt the need to see my grandfather. It had been 3 days since he had been buried, and the cemetery was only a short walk away. I decided to see him. I took my time eating and headed out to the street to walk towards the cemetery. It was a good half-hour walk, but it would be a nice stroll. The flower shop was on the way, so I could pick up flowers for his grave. I still felt the sting of grief run through my bones, but I knew that it would eventually fade over time. I paused my journey to the cemetery to enter the flower shop, quickly picking a bouquet from the back display case and paying. The bouquet of lilies, please. Thank you. With flowers in hand, I made my way to the large steel gates of St. Joseph's Cemetery. I entered and felt the cold shiver of death run through the air against my skin. Would it always be like this? The cemetery was a final resting place. It wasn't just for mourning or sadness. It was supposed to also be a place for remembrance. I sighed as I walked through the cemetery towards my grandfather's grave. Before I could reach it, though, I noticed a figure standing by the slab. Huh? Who's that? I stopped walking and tried to focus my sight to see who was standing at my grandfather's grave before I approached. I didn't want to interrupt a prayer or anything, but even more I wanted to know exactly who was there. My mind barely considered the idea that it was my father, but it couldn't have been him. Familiar brown hair crowned this person's head instead of the black and gray that my father had. He was vaguely familiar. Andrew? It was indeed Andrew. He was dressed in casual clothes, but he was giving his respects to my grandfather. I was curious as to why. I quietly stepped closer and approached Andrew in the grave, being careful not to scare Andrew. At my footsteps, Andrew turned to see me, and realizing it was me, turned fully to me.
Oh, Miss Anderson. I'm sorry. I'll just...
Andrew quickly shook his head and took a step to leave. I stopped him with a hand and smiled. He was merely paying his respects. There was no need for me to intrude. Andrew stared at me before smiling and nodding, returning to his place in front of the grave. He took a sidestep to make room for me, so I stepped next to him. I looked to the grave, running my gaze through the engraving in the stone slab before gently laying my bouquet down by it. However, I didn't stand back up. I gently sat down on the grass in front of the grave and stared at it.
Lilies?
Common flowers for gravestones, yeah. My grandfather didn't have a favorite flower. I heard and felt Andrew quickly crouch down and sit beside me. I turned my head to look at him, catching him nodding in acknowledgement to my statement. I turned back to the grave, letting out a small sigh. So, can I ask why you came here?
I came to pay my respects. He was someone I really idolized.
I turned my head to him again, confused. Idolized?
Mm-hmm. He inspired me to work hard and make people happy. When I interned for his company, he was the first person to greet me at the doors with open arms, even before my father.
Aww. I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. However, the look in Andrew's eyes made my heart break. He truly idolized my grandfather like he was his own grandfather.
Your grandfather was an amazing man, but I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. He treated me better than my dad ever could. All my dad cares about is me becoming the CEO. But Harold Anderson? No.
I could practically feel my lips move in sync with Andrew's as he continued to speak, almost hearing my grandfather speak alongside him in the air.
He said, "Don't worry about it so much. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy instead."
He said that to me too. Andrew turned to me in surprise before smiling.
Really? He cared a lot about you. There were days that he wouldn't stop talking about you and compared you to me.
I felt a blush run across my face. What things did he say?
Well, he told me how cute you were and how you loved to make people happy. He also said you always had the perfect ideas for his toys.
I felt a smile grow on my face, remembering the small moment when I had helped him design his now most popular toy, the glowing heart bear. I didn't realize how proud of me he was because I was so small, but now that I was older, I was able to understand. He always had me help him, even when I didn't feel like I could. He was the greatest person ever in my life. He treated me better than my dad.
How does your dad treat you?
He's pretty harsh to me. He wants me to be the CEO of the company as well, since it's technically a family business.
He's strict, like my dad. Well, if it ever came to a time where the board had to decide a CEO, I'd gladly give it up for you.
Can we be co-CEOs? Can we do that? Can that be a thing? Because I feel like that would work really well. I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Didn't he want the position? Why? Don't you want to be the CEO? To my surprise, Andrew shook his head with a goofy smile.
I don't. My dad wants me to take over the Anderson company, but I really am not sure if I want to or not. Sure, making toys is great and helping people is something I want to do, but I don't know if I want to head the company.
You're not sure what you want to do, just like me.
You don't want to be a CEO either?
I shook my head. Andrew let out a small sigh.
Man, we must be the worst kids on the planet. Our dads want us to take over a company, but we don't even want to. Imagine what would happen if they actually liked each other.
Oh god, that'd be bad. I couldn't help but laugh with him. We were in the same boat, yet we were on opposing sides. It was like Romeo versus Juliet. Two families competing for one goal, but the competitors didn't want to even try to reach that goal. Andrew gently stopped laughing and smiled at me.
Your grandfather was right about one thing, though. You are really cute.
Aw, thank you. The blush that had faded from my face suddenly returned at his words. I looked away from him, making him laugh again.
Sorry, it's true. Cross my heart.
Aw. Thanks. He was flattering me. I had to admit he was cute too, but I had only known him for a short while. It wasn't realistic to like him more than that. Andrew cleared his throat and sat up straight, rubbing the back of his neck.
I'll let you have some time with your grandfather. I don't have anywhere to be, so I'll wait by the gates and give you a ride home when you're done.
Thank you. Oh, that's probably a bad idea. Oh, why did I do that? I forgot about Malix. Shit. It was very sweet of him to wait for me, so I accepted his ride home. Andrew smiled before heading back to the gates. I remained with my grandfather. I'm an idiot. I'm gonna call it here. 'Cause I'm an idiot. Malix is gonna attack him. Oh god, I've made a huge mistake, haven't I? Oh god, this is me overthinking things. I'm gonna call it here, because I'm out of time and I've got a crap ton of things I need to do today, because this is my only day off. 6 days in a row. Anywho, I will talk to you guys later. I'm logging off now. And remember to do something nice for a stranger today. You may just save a life.